Hi, welcome to Uni Finland. Today we'll be going over the Finnish engineering universities here, specifically universities of technology. There's a lot of universities in Finland that do offer engineering education, but I want to specifically focus on the three legally previously being universities of technology. I will also have some notable mentions in the end, but generally I want to focus on universities that have a lot of engineering education, and specifically universities where you can study both your bachelor's and master's in, and possibly even doctorate and licentiate level studies. So, what is a university of technology? I have my little wonderful graph here. So, after post-secondary education in Finnish, you have the tier system. You have universities or yliopisto, and then you have universities of applied sciences, ammattikorkeakoulu. These are your typical, polyethnic schools and, more practically oriented schools where you typically do only a bachelor's degree. In universities or yliopisto, they're more theoretical schools, and you will do a master's degree usually and a bachelor's degree at these universities. And there's two different kinds. There's multidisciplinary universities and there's universities of technology or technically yliopisto. So, what exactly is a university of technology? They're universities that focus on their research investments and education, primarily on engineering and technology. In Finland, there's originally three universities of technology in Finland called TKK, TTKK, and LTKK, with TTK meaning korkeakoulu or school of higher education. Why am I giving you these ancient names from like 1970, back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth? Because they sound funny. That's why. That's literally the reason. Also, because a lot of old people still use these names. You might be explaining to someone that you're studying, at LUT University, and they'll be like, "What is that?" And you're like, "Ah, yes, LTKK," and then they'll be like, "Oh, yes, I know what you mean now." So that's kind of how that works. These are old names. They're not in the use anymore, mostly because after the merger of universities, only one remains legally a University of Technology, but really in name only. They're not actually University of Technology. Nowadays, generally universities with a large focus on engineering, despite the offering of other fields, I would consider University of Technology. So the three original universities of technology that really aren't universities of technology, but they still have a very major focus on technology, I would consider to be still engineering universities, and these are the most like important ones, I would say. They provide the most engineering students, like graduates amounts, and they're the most known generally in the job fields in Finland and also globally. So the first one is Aalto University or Aalto yliopisto. That's the former TKK. Also in English, that's Helsinki University of Technology. It was created in the merger of three universities, one of them being TKK or Helsinki University of Technology. Um, you can see the name here. It's in three. It's in Finnish, Swedish, and English. The reason why it's in all three is because it provides education in all three of these. It's in the city center of Helsinki. Well, not in the city center of Helsinki. It's a metro away from the city center of Helsinki. It's in Otaniemi, Espoo, and they have Swedish courses. The bane of my existence, and some really cool stuff about this is that it's generally known as the most prestigious engineering school in Finland. There's not really a ranking per se for what is the best school because Finland doesn't really do that. There's a very standardized education system no matter where you go. But among students, people are like, "Hey, Aalto, this is the hardest one to get into, so therefore it's the best one." Basically, uh, you know, up to you if you think that that's the correct opinion to have. But the truth is that they have the really large endowment, and they have a really massive amount of study fields. They have electrical, mechanical, software, computational, quantum, material science, architecture, robotics, chemistry, biotechnology, automation. That's just a really small portion of what they do. You can study so much in the field of engineering here. This is the largest engineering school in Finland, by far, and you can study so much in here. They have their campus in Otaniemi, but they also have a regional unit in cities like Mikkeli. They have a bachelor's program in economics or business in Mikkeli, but since you're looking for engineering, don't need to worry about this one. You will be in Otaniemi. It's a very large international student body, and they have about 17,500 students, which is a lot for Finnish scale. Considering the fact that most Finnish universities hover somewhere around 10,000, 17,500 is a lot. So, also the fact that it's located in Espoo and near Helsinki, it makes the international job searching a bit easier. It might be easier to get, internships overall. It might be easier to get employed after graduation. In reality, it doesn't really matter where you go to school. You can just relocate to your nearest, big city after you get graduate. You could graduate from nowhere and still go to a bigger city and get a job. But if you study at Aalto, you kind of save the extra cost of relocating after graduation from a university in a smaller city. So that's one of the big positives of being at Aalto. And obviously they have a really big campus, and they have a metro that goes straight from the city center. They also have a tram that goes from Aalto into other places in Espoo and Helsinki. Overall, very good school, and it's probably the hardest school to get into in Finland, in engineering at least. And you can study bachelor's, education. It depends on the field. If it's in English, there are some programs that are only in Finnish, but then others are only in English, and then others are both. So you can study in either Finnish or English. So I would keep track of that. There might be a program that you're interested in, which Aalto does offer, but they only offer it in Finnish, which is unfortunate. But there is a lot of stuff that Aalto does offer in English. Some notable mentions would be quantum technology. I don't think there's any other university in Finland that offers this. It's really cool. So if that's your alley, I would definitely try to apply in there. Automation is also huge in Finland, especially really electrical engineering and software automation. So that's something to really consider as well. So overall, that's Aalto University for you. Would recommend. Next one is Tampere University, or Tampereen yliopisto. That's the former TTKK, or Tampere University of Technology. So it was created from the merger of 2 universities and 1 university of applied science. So the way this works is that there's this one specific organization that owns both Tampere University and Tampere University of Applied Sciences. My logo is incorrect here. This should say Tampere University at the top and Tampere University of Applied Sciences at the bottom. So sorry about that, Tuni. I'm sorry. I meant to have the actual university logo here. So there's a couple of different logos that I get confused by. There's the Tampere University logo, then there's Tampere University of Applied Sciences logo, and then there's the Tampere University and Tampere University of Applied Sciences combined logo. It's very confusing. But point being, it's the same organization. Their campus is in Hervanta, out of the city center of Tampere, specifically for engineering education, because they have 3 campuses, one for the applied sciences and one for the engineering university, and one for the general, other kinds of studies, whether it's natural sciences, for example. So the Hervanta campus is the engineering one. Tampere in general is the most popular student city in Finland. It's a very popular application choice, and you can study electrical, data science, power electronics, software, photonics. This is a really cool field as well. Automation, as with most universities nowadays, and biomed. Again, this might depend on your specific field, on if the degree is offered in English or in Finnish, or both. I've found that there's some little bit less variety with the English courses in specifically Tampere University, but they are expanding their catalog, so they're catching up with other universities or universities of technology in Finland, which is really good. My personal opinion is Hervanta as an area is meh. I've been to the campus. It's a cool campus. It's in Hervanta. Hervanta's cool, but it's not that fun. The proximity to Tampere City Center makes up for it though. And obviously collaboration with Tampere University of Applied Sciences adds to the student culture and integration. And overall, there's over 21,000 students in this school, and over 10% are international. And Tampere as a city is pretty big, so you also have a lot of employment chances in Tampere overall. So you don't necessarily have to relocate to Helsinki either after graduation if you don't want to be, in the biggest city in Finland. The Tampere is, smaller, but it's still big in the Finnish scale, and there are job opportunities for international. Again, Tuni, sorry for the logo. It should be Tampere University here, and then Tampere University of Applied Sciences below. Next up is LUT University. It's formerly LTKK, or just LUT, Lappeenranta University of Technology. Technically, it's still legally a University of Technology. The legal name of LUT is Lappeenranta University of Technology. So it is legally University of Technology, but they really just use the abbreviated name of LUT University because they still offer business and social sciences and things like that, and they've really moved away from just being an engineering school. So they use the abbreviated name of university. So it is a University of Technology. It's technically the last University of Technology in Finland that stayed independent. But it still goes by just LUT University or LUT yliopisto in Finnish. They have campuses in the city of Lappeenranta and Lahti, and they have research units in Mikkeli and Kouvola. And they actually have Finland's happiest students for the 4th or 5th year in a row now. There are 7,100 students, of which 1,000 are in Lahti and 6,000 in Lappeenranta. Lab University of Applied Sciences, so this school below here, is owned by LUT. And so you can add 9,500 students into the campus numbers because they share a campus together. So in Lappeenranta, this might be the main building of LUT, but you walk a couple hundred meters in this direction, there's another building with the lab logo, and a sky bridge that connects them together. So they share a campus, which means that your 6,000 students in Lappeenranta also adds 3,500 students from lab. So really the campus population itself is pretty big. So even though I would say both of these are mid-sized universities of about less than 10,000 students, but together they're a really big university like concern overall, which is pretty cool. Uh, One cool thing about LUT is that I think it's the only university in Finland where you can basically study all the programs that they offer in Finnish also in English. The only exception in this, in engineering, would be chemistry. Because every other program, electrical, mechanical, energy technology, environmental, materials, chemistry, computational engineering, software engineering, water technology, all these other kinds of things, except chemical engineering, which only has master's level English level courses, all these other ones have an English level bachelor's as well. So you could complete an English level bachelor's, master's, and a doctorate all at LUT, and in the degree you want, except chemistry. That's the only one that doesn't have a bachelor's yet. Everything else has a bachelor's, master's, and a doctoral program. So this is something that's very unique at LUT, and the reason why is that there's a huge amount of international students. Like at this point, I'm pretty sure I don't know if LUT even knows what the number is at this point because they take so many international students. Like it's at least 30% at this point. You go on many of the campuses in Lappeenranta or Lahti, and there's just a huge amount of international people. I would say Lappeenranta and Lahti are a lot harder for employment after graduation. You may need to relocate to a city like Helsinki, because Lappeenranta it only has 70,000 people, and Lahti 120,000 people. So there are employment chances, but I would say that most people who come to LUT, they come to LUT as just to study, and they go somewhere else for after graduation. Because the fact of the matter is that some city like Lappeenranta, for example, it's a student city, as in it's very nice to be in as a student, but it is going to be harder for jobs. So once you graduate, you're going to be yearning for a larger city overall. And luckily, it's only a 2-hour train from Helsinki. Lahti campus is 1-hour train from Helsinki. So really, relocation is pretty easy to Helsinki. To Tampere, I think it's 3 or 4 hours from Lappeenranta to Tampere. So take that for what you will. If this is a good option for you, it might be a good option for you. I would say Lappeenranta has an interesting one with the campus, is that it's not in the city center. It's kind of in the forest. So if you like a more nature forest campus, this might be for you. LUT is very focused on environmental research and clean water technology and things like that, which is why they have water technology in, for example, in a lot of their programs. And a lot of their bachelor's programs have very specific components about sustainability and environmental studies. You might be studying mechanical engineering, but you still have to take sustainability studies to understand the impact that your career will have on the environment, which is unique compared to most universities. And obviously, it's in the forest, the campus itself. So if you want to be in a big city, this might not be for you. If you like the typical Finnish aesthetic that you see online of small cottages in the middle of the forest, this is exactly what you want. I think people see Helsinki and they might think what is this Finland, this huge metropolitan area? That might be perfectly good for you, and that might be exactly what you need. But if you want Finland to be the typical Finland you see in I don't know, your YouTube video about Finland, where it's just very thinly and sparsely populated area with a lot of forest. You're looking for specifically the lake part of Finland where this university is located. Some notable mentions is University of Oulu, University of Eastern Finland. They're not universities of technology, but they do offer engineering education. University of Oulu has some engineering programs in computer science, and the same with University of Eastern Finland. They have different kinds of IT and stuff. The reason why I don't include something like University of Turku or University of Vaasa, for example, who also do some engineering education, is that I just don't think that they have a robust international community, and they don't have the programs to be an international school. Like the University of Vaasa and University of Turku, they're great schools, but they don't have any English bachelors in engineering, and their master's catalog is also very small. That's true for these two as well, but they do have bachelor and masters, so you can recommend them even though the catalog you can choose from is smaller overall. So the conclusion is we need more gifted students in engineering in Finland. So you, please, our population is declining. Immigration would be pretty cool. Engineering degree is one of the most stable jobs in Finland for international students. Generally, the employment rate for Finnish students is over 90%. For international people, I don't know what the actual numbers for that are. They would be lower, I would assume, since it is harder with for if you don't know English, if you don't know Finnish, if you only know English. But if you only know English, engineering, for sure, the easiest one to get a job in. Any other degree that you do in English in Finland, it's going to be harder because engineering is one of the few fields where it's unanimously English no matter where you study or where you work or where you live. So definitely good for international students. University of Technology degrees are internationally respected. So if you do a bachelor's and a master's, which is the typical route in University of Technology, so 5 years, it will be a very respected diploma everywhere else in the world, especially in Asia and also in the European Union. We follow the European credit systems in universities of technology. So, your engineering degree will be, seen as respected in the university or country where you decide to go to. Hopefully you'll stay in Finland, but yeah. Tuition costs vary from university. Universities in the capital will be more expensive. So, for example, Aalto will be more expensive, while universities in the middle of a forest where your nearest neighbor is a bear are cheaper. So, if you're in the LUT campus where, 7 kilometers from the city center in the middle of a forest, it's going to be cheaper. The education quality, I would say, is about the same, but, it's going to be cheaper for you. But Aalto will be in the metropolitan area. So take that for what you will. If you like specific things about Finland and what your view of what you want to do is, you can kind of make the decision there because a lot of these they have very similar programs. Like LUT has computational engineering, Aalto has computational engineering, LUT has electrical engineering, Aalto has, they have the same programs really as the universities of technology. So really you choose a campus that you fall in love with, and if you can get accepted to that campus, awesome. All universities, they do offer generous scholarships in one form or another, at least in some of their programs. So especially if they're a program where they want more international students, there will be more scholarship options. So I know for Aalto, they might have, the highest applicant, the one with the highest scores will get 50% and 100% scholarships. For LUT, there's, for example, early bird scholarships, and there's 50% scholarships if you do all your credits in 1 year. Tampere University has very similar ones to both LUT and Aalto. So overall, you can get a scholarship if you really need it. It just needs some work, obviously, since you do need to be, a high achieving student. For example, get the scholarship for Aalto. For LUT, it's a little easier, I would say, because the 50% scholarship is based on the credit amount and not your grade. So you could technically just, come to LUT and do your degree and not be a top student, but you'll still get a scholarship. So that's nice. So engineering universities, one of the most international and easiest ways to integrate in all of Finland. Student happiness is higher, social events are non-stop, and networking is very vital in Finland, where basically the reason why universities of technology have so many non-stop events and events where you can go to and network is because they're really important. You need to meet Finnish people, you need to meet employers, you need to meet people who will help you with your assignments and your job applications and things like that. And that's why it's great when you're in an international university, because frankly, it's going to be really difficult if you are the only international student in a university in Finland where no one else really either wants to speak Finnish or can speak English. Sorry. So if you're in a university where a majority speak English and the majority want to help you, then this is a really great place to be at. So yeah, thanks for watching my rambling. This is something I'll plan to do in the future as well. I basically really like universities. My passion was just kind of looking through all the universities in Finland when I was applying to engineering here, and basically what that means is that I have a lot of useless knowledge about every single university in Finland that could be shared instead of gatekept. So that's what I've been planning on doing. So thank you for watching this rambling, and I'll see you in the next one.